What's up, everybody? Hang on here. I'm gonna get my ear pods connected. All right, let me see. Can I hear? I cannot myself. Hang on, I gotta go try something just so I can make sure my audio is working. Hold on. All right, all right. Yep, my audio is working. One side, anyway. I don't know what's up with the other side, but what's up, everybody? Aloha. Wednesday, Hump Day Wednesday, middle of the week. Rubbish day for me. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I could hear because my computer, my computer speaker is not the best, so I use my little AirPods. So it is working. Roger Dodger, all good. We're ready to rock and roll. How you guys doing? As you can see, Charlie is out. He's working tonight again. Busy guy, man. He's a busy guy. So I will be your host. 7 o'clock. We will have former council chair from Honolulu. Where's Uncle? He's working. Uncle is working. Unfortunately, he may jump on. I don't know. He may jump on a little later when he's free. But yeah, you got me and former council chair from the city and county of Honolulu, Ikaika Anderson, will be on sharing his story, talking to us about Ikaika and his plan on running for lieutenant governor. It'll be an interesting evening. He will be answering your questions, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun with Ikaika. Uh, Lieutenant governor, that position is an interesting one because historically it's kind of like an ambassador type of position. Uh, really hasn't been a position of any type of authority. Typically, the governor will allow the lieutenant governor to take on some kind of function or some kind of project, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in this race coming up with a new governor and a new lieutenant governor. So we'll see. We shall see. This Our current lieutenant governor has been very active because of COVID, and not sure what he would have been doing if not for COVID. I don't know. I know he was very active with assisting the homeless with medical services, of which I commended him. And then COVID hit, and I don't know what happened. Today on his spotlight, he has a tendency of really downplaying the dangers of COVID. And if you watch the spotlight today, the Star Advertiser spotlight, uh, his message is completely different from the experts like Dr. Altenberg and Dr. Tim Brown from East West Center. Very different. In fact, if you listen, Tim Brown was on last week and he was talking about uh, warning the state from opening too soon, that we should have a gradual opening and pay attention. He also talked about the strong recommendation. It was actually a plea that we would reinstitute pre-travel testing for all travelers, whether you're vaccinated or not. But if you listen to Lieutenant Governor today, he painted a different picture. He painted a different picture, a picture that was that where there's very little virus running around, and there's so many vaccinated people around that we should be able to be back to normal shortly. Um, I was kind of concerned because he was, if you didn't know what was going on, or if you, let's say you're on the mainland and you're not familiar with what's happening here on Kauai or in Hawaii, and you watch that interview, it would appear that it was completely safe, that Hawaii had no longer had the COVID. We didn't have to worry about it. I don't see that picture. I like what Tim Brown is saying and Lee Altenberg, those guys that are being cautious, that are the lieutenant governor is very optimistic. Uh, in fact, saying that he had recommended opening up a lot sooner, that we should be opening up everything outdoors. And I would caution people that we're not over. We're back to triple digits. You know, the weekend numbers, we know this on Mondays and on Tuesdays. The numbers are from Saturday and Sunday, respectively. So when we utilize those numbers, and you can hear them, you can hear our leaders talking on the Monday news and the Tuesday news how our numbers are dropping, and then Wednesday, because we're back to the Monday count, it's back up to triple digits. Why are we even using the weekend numbers in our decision making process is quite concerning, because the bottom line is this: we have about 70% of our population that's been vaccinated. That leaves 30% that haven't. We have travelers coming in every single day, and it'll increase. In fact, I just heard on the news tonight that the Hotel Workers Association they're concerned that we don't have enough employees to handle the rush of travelers that are coming in. Like, you guys have been crying for so long that we need to open up, and we're losing money, and now they're saying we don't know if we can handle the influx. Well, yeah, you're not going to be able to handle the influx because you're not going to be able to hire people in time. Uh, Interesting. That's because we're going to open up wide right now. And in fact, we're not open. We've been open. We've been open. The only difference, and I had a friend text me today and ask me, Mel, what is the difference with the governor's new travel policy? There is no difference. There is still no testing for vaccinated people. There is still no testing for anyone that's coming to Hawaii that's vaccinated. We we have a 72-hour pre-test requirement if you're not vaccinated, and then of course you have the opportunity to say, I don't want to take a test, I'm not vaccinated, I'm going to come in and quarantine. Um, so it's scary because we know, based on a Lancet study, how dangerous it is for the travelers coming in. How many of our travelers are coming in positive, undetected? So, yeah, it's a concern. So there is no change with the policy. The unsafe travel policy is still intact. The only difference is now the governor has made the world aware that we are open and we want you to come. A few weeks ago, he said we don't want you to come, but now he's saying we want all of you to come, whether it's business travel, recreational travel. We want all of you to come, and you don't have to test if you're vaccinated. We guys, I tired of beating the dead horse. I'm tired of preaching to the choir about we know that this virus lives in vaccinated and non-vaccinated people. We know that the virus is transferred by vaccinated and non-vaccinated. The lieutenant governor constantly tries to infer and convince people that once you're vaccinated, you are immune. No, that's not true. It's not true. And it leads you to believe that you're okay, and that's what's going to happen. I worry that the next surge is going to be right around the corner. It's ironic that, and I don't know if you've noticed this, but whenever we are approaching a typically heavily traveled weekend, holiday weekend, we manage to bring our numbers down and we open up to accommodate the travelers, all the visitors coming in, all the travelers, and then the spikes come, and then we shut it down again. We shut it down again for the local people. So I don't know if you've noticed that, but I have. And as we are approaching one of the most busiest times of the year for the travel industry, we are now wide open. And again, wide open in a sense that our governor has now informed the world that we're ready for you. And but the policy hasn't changed. No testing for vaccinated people, and I think that's going to be something that we will regret. I hope I'm wrong, but I listening to the experts, that's kind of where we're at. So anyway, enough on that. We have Ikaika Anderson here. He is in the house. He's in the waiting room, and there he is.
Hey,
Let's see
aloha. Good
what's up.
evening, brother Mel.
Aloha. Hey, how's that? That's better, I think. God, I
There we
gotta
go.
shave. I gotta shave, man. Look at this. Look at how white. I gotta shave, bro. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I'm sure you could hear us talking a little bit about the what's going on. I know you're paying very close attention to it. We'll get to that later to get your thoughts on where we're at with COVID
Of course.
and the governor's announcement and the lieutenant governor's spotlight today. But let's start off by introducing yourself, my friend. Is that coffee? Is that coffee
That
or
is
yeah?
black
Same here,
coffee.
buddy. Toast, toast, toast.
Salute.
Boom. Salute. Mine is coconut coffee, straight from the coffee fields here in Kauai. I only drink local coffee, man.
Nice
It's
stuff.
perfect stuff. So, who is Ikaika Anderson, buddy? Take us on the journey of your life.
Brother Mel, we don't have that much time to go on a whole entire journey for that. But I do want to thank you very much for the opportunity to talk story with you and with your listeners tonight. I also want to thank you very much for hosting us, myself, Alan Teixeira, and Kathy Lee from Team Ikaika while we were on Kauai last week. You are good friends, Aro Kaneshiro, Bernard Carvalho, and Kipukai Kuali'i. I also want to thank the Aro Kaneshiro Ohana for opening up their home to us and having an opportunity to talk story with you all. So first of all, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome, my
I've
friend.
served on the Honolulu City Council for a little over 11 years, elected by the good people of Windward, Oahu. Aside from that, I am a father of four children. I currently still have three of my children living at home with me. They range in age from 11 to 17. My twins are 11. My oldest son is 11, is 17. And they're all public school children, all educated in our state's public schools. And look forward to talking story with you tonight, Mel, and your listeners about a number of issues happening here around the state. Not only on you folks' home island, but I know that your listenership is actually statewide, which is great. So look forward to talking story with folks from Lihue to Honoka'a.
Awesome. Let's go back. Let's go back to. I know you're a Windward side, right? Windward side boy. Were you in school and what was your life before politics? What?
I grew up on the
I know.
windward
I know
side,
your
raised by my
family.
grandparents.
Andy Anderson is your uncle, right?
Yes, Andy's
I
my
just found
uncle.
out. Yeah, I just found out that he was very good friends with my grandpa
I see.
here on. What a small world! What a small world!
So my uncle Andy is actually my granduncle. He's my grandfather's brother. I was born and raised on the windward side of Oahu. I was raised by my grandparents, my mother's parents, Whitney and Hanny Anderson. And I went back and forth as a kid between my grandparents' home, my mother and stepfather's home in Kaneohe at the time, and my great grandparents' home was in Waimanalo, where I currently live. Upon them passing away, we moved back to the family property in Waimanalo. I live on half of the property in my home with my children, and my grandparents, my grandmother and my grandfather, live in my great grandparents' former home on the other side of the property. So the wonderful opportunity that this allows, Brother Mel, is for my keiki to see and spend time with their great grandparents every day. We have dinner together almost every evening, pretty much at their home, and it's a wonderful opportunity for my kids to get to see their great grandparents. A lot of children don't even get to see their grandparents very often. Mine see their great grandparents every day, which is just a wonderful opportunity. I went to school at Kamehameha Schools. Upon graduation there, worked at Aloha Airlines for some time, and then went to the University of Hawaii and earned 2 degrees, one in political science, one in journalism, and I spent some time working at the state legislature. My grandfather's business is he owned a janitorial supply distributorship business. I helped him with that for a number of years, and then went on to serve the late Honolulu City Council member Barbara Marshall as a member of her staff before succeeding her and getting elected to the Honolulu City Council myself.
Wow. Yeah. I met you when you were on the city council, I believe. I don't think I knew you before, but obviously worked a lot together over the years.
We did.
Worked on many projects, worked at the legislature or with the legislature on many projects, and you're a pretty headstrong guy.
I get that a lot.
And then city council, Honolulu City Council chair. That takes a lot of work, takes a lot of intestinal fortitude. I don't know what else word to say,
Well, the county
but it's
level, Mel,
difficult.
that's where the rubber meets the road, brother.
Yeah, I I, I always talk about that. We're talking
It's the
politics. I always
truth.
talk about you know, and really, this is no disrespect to our state legislature, but at the end of the day, they meet during a session. Their offices are typically off island for the neighbor islands, and when people have issues, your local issues, parking issues, noise issues, whatever it may be, they're going to contact your local council members, not
That's
not the
right.
legislature. Rarely will they reach out to a state legislator. So yeah, I found that very early on in my career that what you may have seemed to be a trivial issue, uh, when you sit down and talk to someone and find out that issue, while maybe trivial to you, is the most important issue in someone else's life at the time.
That's right.
I learned that real quick, and they rely on the local government to take care of it. And I can only imagine on Oahu, you guys are districted, so you folks have council members for districts. Here on Kauai, we are at large, so seven
Right.
members here on Kauai serve the entire county. But on Oahu, it's different. You have nine council members, each serving a specific district. How does that work? How does that with relationships with your other council members? How does that work?
It's important for each council member to collaborate with their 8 colleagues because every district has different needs, Mel. You have different constituencies. When I was on the Honolulu City Council, I had a constituency of roughly 115,000 people in Windward, Oahu. And we serve for 4 years, a maximum of 2 4-year terms. I would. I was hopeful that the other counties would go to a 4-year term. It really enables the council member to spend more time working for the constituents on the issues that matter versus reelection. I always felt that 2 4-year terms rather than 4 2-year terms would enable you folks to be more effective. But I also believe the district representation is more effective than an at large because we have the ability to live amongst our constituents, not just the ability, but the requirement that we live amongst the people who directly elect us. And you don't have any possibility of, say, a majority of the council members being from 1 or 2 portions of Oahu. Uh, that I think would be problematic on an island with 1 million people.
Yeah, I don't think it can work. I don't think at large it could ever work in a big city like Oahu, in Honolulu. On Kauai, where our constituency is about half of what the entire island constituency is, about half of what your district had. So uh, on Kauai, I think the at large still works. I
Mhm.
think as we grow, as issues get more complex, uh, that may end up changing. I know there's been many efforts on Kauai to actually change it to districting, but that's something that we'll see how that thing unfolds. But so you stepped down a little while ago. You stepped down, and well, let's touch on this topic because our show traditionally or typically is we inform and educate about COVID.
Mhm.
I noticed very early on in the COVID process, Ikaika, you made a bold move early on, when COVID was still pretty much unknown, and we really didn't know how long it was going to last. And but you made a bold move. You shut your building down.
I
You
did.
locked it down, and a lot of people questioned it. Of course, a lot of people supported it because of safety. But what led you to make that decision to say, "Hey, I really don't care what the rest of you guys are doing. I'm shutting it down to keep everyone safe." What? How did that happen?
Primary function of government, Mel, is public safety. That's what was on my mind. keeping the people that the Honolulu City Council represented safe and keeping our employees safe. That's what was on my mind. I was the first government, ours was really the first government in the state to close. I closed the entire legislative branch of the city and county of Honolulu. And in doing so, also decided that we'd be canceling our budget briefings, which we've never done, and also deciding that our meetings would be held remotely. Now, please keep in mind, our council rules did not allow for remote meetings, nor did the state sunshine law at the time allow for remote meetings. And when I informed the mayor, I didn't ask him, I informed the mayor of my intention the morning I closed the legislative branch, what we were going to do. That was one of the first questions he asked. Do your council rules and does the sunshine law allow you to conduct meetings the way you're going to conduct them? And I said, no. And I was asked, well, what are you going to do? I said, we're going to figure it out. If we get sued, we get sued. We have attorneys. I have a wonderful staff. We'll deal with that. But if someone gets sick or worse on my watch, I didn't want to have to explain to those families what happened to their family members because government refused to act. I've always believed, Mel, like you do, it's absolutely okay to be held accountable for our decisions and for people to disagree with our decisions. But it's never okay for us not to make a decision, to be incapable of making a decision.
That's right. I always said a non-decision is a decision.
Well,
A
the decision isn't
non-decision.
going to be made for you, and more
Exactly.
often than not in your favor.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, I think everybody realizes that was the right thing to do. That probably saved lives. Not probably, but I'm almost positive that it saved lives. It definitely prevented a lot of people from getting sick. Remember, now this is early on in COVID when we didn't have the vaccines. We didn't have everything was still a lot of unknowns, and yeah, it's going to be something. Yeah, we're gonna get some questions coming up,
And we
which is pretty
suffered an
cool.
outbreak in our city clerk's office, Mel, a few months after that.
Absolutely, absolutely, and
I got a call at 9 o'clock one morning. In fact, the night before, I told my grandmother. She asked me if I could take her shopping because she doesn't do much driving anymore. I said, yeah, Tutu, sure. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we'll go to Shima's and do your shopping. As soon as we pull into Shima's supermarket, I get a call on my cell phone from a city number, so I had to answer it. It was a city clerk telling me that he had an outbreak in his office. So between 9 and 12, I talked to all of my colleagues. I talked to the city administration, and I was also able to get a local doctor on the ground in City Hall by 12:30, testing all legislative branch employees who wanted to be tested. And we were also able to extend that to executive branch employees. So the legislative branch really provided the leadership that Honolulu needed at that time to help the council navigate through this. And I really have to thank the leadership team in my office and at the Honolulu City Council that we put in place. Because as you know, Mel, you're only as good as the people that you have with you.
absolutely.
You're
I
really
mean,
only as good as the people you have with you. And we had the best.
yeah. Well, I would say I had the best, but let's agree we both had the best. I wasn't there during COVID, so yeah, you definitely were the best. But like I said, a lot of people now look back and say, in fact, I'm seeing some of the comments. That was what everyone should have done. There's certain decisions that's got to be made, and government has a tendency of kicking the can down the road. But when you're faced with a pandemic, that we are not familiar with. Yeah, it's going to take some bold actions. So I did wanted to cover that, and we'll talk more about COVID. I do want to. I'm going to ask you questions as they pop up.
Of course.
This is a long question, so if I can try to put it on the screen, but it's going to be cut. Jamie's asking, would you like to know what Council Member Anderson's opinion is on the state taking away the county's share of the TAT? The TAT was initially designed to help out the counties, but the state took all of that kala away for themselves and now allows. Let me read allows the counties to charge their own TAT up to 3%. I shared my comments last week about this. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm never a fan of the state taking money from the counties. The counties, to me, should not be political subdivisions of the state at all, which the state constitution provides for. First of all, I would have liked to see that the issue of the counties being political subdivisions of the state resolved before through a constitutional convention. But that aside, with this particular question, no, I don't think the state should have taken the county's share of the transit accommodations tax. If the state needed additional monies, the state has a number of taxes already at their disposal to look at. The state also has a number of special funds that could be considered. If the best way, I think, to be helpful with this issue would have been for the state to turn the transit accommodations tax authority over in its entirety to the counties, and let the county councils and the mayors make their own decision. But to take their money and then cap them at 3%, I don't think is fair. I would rather see the state tell the counties, you want to go ahead and implement a transit accommodations tax in your respective county. Talk to your councils, talk to your mayor, and you folks go and do what you need to do to take care of your people.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, you know how hard we have fought for that TAT. We know that every year we got threatened by the legislature about taking away. In fact, for everyone's information, which this stuff doesn't get printed in the news and definitely ain't on TV, but Oahu City Council, led by Ikaika, I'm sure you remember this, actually fought and defended Kauai when they were trying to reduce Kauai's share. When they were going to go on a share, Ikaika, you and your county council supported to keep the percentages as they were.
We did.
And appreciate that. Thank you. And again, that's just unselfish actions for the betterment of the whole, right? Not just city and county of Honolulu, which a lot of times, and you know this, Ikaika, a lot of the decisions that are made are Honolulu centric,
and they shouldn't be
centric. And for the most part, I think people can understand that. But when it comes to something like the TAT, which Kauai, we get bombarded with tourism. Our infrastructure gets a huge impact from our visitors, and that TAT is what we use. So when the state talked about taking away our TAT, now they're not stopping the TAT. They're still charging the TAT.
That's right.
It's just that the counties ain't going to get their share now.
That's right.
So now we're going to double tax. I don't have a problem double taxing the tourists, but the principle of it is you're taking away monies that were intended for the counties, and now you're telling the counties, you guys want to go make your own, go charge your own.
But you're capped at 3%.
And then you're capped. I have fought for so long, Ikaika, for the state legislature to give the counties the authority to create our own county tax. Why should the state? Why would the state block that? If our county wants to charge an extra 0.5% sales tax to help the road, if the councils and the mayor will decide if in fact that's going to happen, they will be accountable to the people of Kauai or their respective islands. But the state has year after year said, no, you're not getting the ability to do anything except take what we give you, which I think is shallow. And I wish they would stop that and hold the politicians in the counties accountable for the taxing actions that they decide to take or not take. I don't know why that has been an issue. I don't know.
I absolutely agree with you in that regard. If the counties decide to tack on additional fees to charge visitors, I am absolutely okay and in support. I'm okay with that, and I'm in support of that. I think that's fine. You are going to hear some folks say, Mel, as you've heard some folks say over the years, that is going to price some visitors out of being able to come here. I am of the opinion that we don't need to attract 10 million visitors to come here. It's common knowledge that when we had less visitors, a tad more than 8 million visitors, we took in more revenue from those 8 million visitors than we do now at 10 million visitors. We need to attract different types of visitors who are willing to come here and spend more money. It's not about bringing more visitors here. We cannot sustain bringing 10 million people here. We certainly can't sustain bringing more than 10 million here every single year. It's going to be overtaxing to our residents. It's going to be overtaxing to our natural resources. And that is just not a sustainable business model. And one of the cornerstones of my campaign that I'm talking about is visitor industry management. And that's right along the lines of visitor industry management. We need to attract a different type of visitor, Mel. That's what we have to do.
That's what I heard from our HTA executive director when he was here, Mr. DeFries. That's what I hear from our governor. That's what I hear from so many people. But the day after the governor talks about uh, creating a management plan and the HTA management plan, and the governor is saying that we have reached consensus with the airlines, the very next day,
Yeah.
$99 round trip fares to Hawaii, $149 round trip fares to Hawaii. That's not the visitor you want to attract. You're basically saying we want to manage tourism, but maybe after this let's get what we can first. That's how I see it, because that's what happened. It's still happening today. Everyone's on catch up mode because we lost a lot of money during COVID. Everyone did, including households, not just businesses. So
Mhm.
I think it's kind of a double talk when people say we gotta try to find a different type of visitor, but our actions aren't showing that. Our actions is let's get what we can. They're staying in vacation rentals and Airbnbs. They're shopping at Costco, loading up, so they're not eating in restaurants. They're saving money, and they're not spending. They're not spending, and that's not helping our economy. What you talked about, we had more revenues generated with 8 million than we did with 10 million visitors. That's quite a analysis, man. That's quite a statistic.
As you mentioned, Mel, we are simply not attracting the type of visitor that we want that would contribute to a sustainable visitor model. Years ago, back in 2011, the Honolulu City Council, with a bill that I introduced, helped to manage the visitor industry in Windward, Oahu. Did we stop it? Did we kick the visitor industry out? No, absolutely not. But what we did tell the visitor industry is you're not going to bring your large stagecoach tour buses into our beach parks. You're not going to, as a visitor, be able to come into the beach park and rent windsurfing equipment and kiteboarding equipment and be able to go into Kailua Bay and have all of these commercial tour operators compete with our residents for parking stalls. Bills were passed back in 2011, 2012 to prohibit that type of activity. What we also did, Mel, with no ordinance, just a handshake agreement, talked to Kailua's largest commercial landowner at the time, Kaneohe Ranch, and got Kaneohe Ranch to agree to stop utilizing their commercial properties near Kailua Beach for visitor drop off on a commercial scale, and instead
Oh, lost your audio, bro. Lost your audio. We lost your audio, Ikaika. Cannot hear you. Cannot hear you. Oh, okay. We lost Ikaika. Oh, all right. We lost. He'll be back. He'll be back. Marlene asked, "What kind of visitor do you want to?" Oh, there he is. He's back. Hang on.
sorry about that, Mel. I guess I got the
Oh,
boot there.
yeah. No, you didn't get the boot. I saw your. I can see your Wi-Fi signal. Your Wi-Fi signal went down to zero, and then
Okay.
it. So you're up strong now.
But what we did with Kaneohe Ranch and later Alexander and Baldwin is got the landowners to agree that they would stop using their commercial zone property around Kailua Beach Park for large scale tour drop offs. They didn't have to do that. Their properties are zoned for that type of commercial activity. But when we asked these landowners to be good stewards, they agreed. And to this day, Mel, that gentleman agreement still stands
Yeah.
through our efforts. And I believe we could look at that model and apply it statewide. At the time, I talked to a number of my other colleagues on the Honolulu City Council, asking if my colleagues favored that same type of uh, management in their council districts. And most said no. And I said, okay, that's fine. If you folks don't want to do it, please allow me your votes to help the people who elected me in Windward Oahu be able to do this. It's worked well. I have firsthand experience in doing this and getting the job done and producing results with visitor industry management, and we can apply it on a larger scale.
Yeah, I think everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but the majority of people really want to be good stewards. I think a lot of the business owners want to be good stewards, and and that's, I think, what we all gotta try to work out with our neighbors. One of the things I think, people, a lot of people believe that we gotta diversify our economy, and I agree. But I think we all gotta come to the realization that the visitor industry will always be our main driver of the economy. That's just, I'm sorry, it's that it is, and I think we can do more for sustainable agriculture. I think there's a lot more we can do as a state, but Hawaii is a destination, and we're not going to replace tourism with agriculture. It's just not going to happen,
No.
in my opinion. Kaika, I mean, I don't know what your thoughts on that are, but I also believe we have a capacity in our state. We have a carrying capacity, and before we can do a management plan, before we can talk this talk, we got to figure out what. And every place is different. Kauai's carrying capacity is definitely different from Oahu and Maui and the Big Island. So we got to determine the carrying capacity, and at some point address that and say we can only accept so many people. We can only accept so many people on our island at any given time because our infrastructure, our public health and safety cannot handle a larger capacity. And I am not sure if anyone is seriously. I know we've done studies. I know we've done all the studies, but it's always leaned towards the industry. We need an independent study, carrying capacity study done in our state for all the different counties. And that's the only way. Once we get that baseline, then we can figure out where do we go
Mhm.
next. I,
And that's a
I
great
don't know
point,
how else
Mel.
to
And
start.
as a Honolulu City Council member, uh, I actually got convinced my colleagues to appropriate funding to start a carrying capacity in Windward, Oahu, pertaining to the visitor industry. So what you're talking about is exactly the type of information that's needed to make an educated decision. It can't be a guess. We're not going to get an opportunity to guess this and then see what happens. Cannot.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and it's real. And this rest period, this reset, was an opportunity for us to do all of those things. I thought, I thought, well, while we were down and everyone was teleworking and we had all these services that had been reduced or stopped,
That's
now
right.
would have been the time to catch up, for our state to catch up. And we're losing out on a great opportunity of a window of time that we could be taking care of a lot of these things. So
Yep.
anyway, all right. So you stepped down from the city council. You think we'll take care of some personal matters, and now you are going to run for the second highest office in the state. What the heck are you thinking, bro? What are you thinking?
Uh, when I stepped away from the Honolulu City Council, as you mentioned earlier, Mel, no vaccines were available. As I mentioned at the top of your show, I do share property with my grandparents. They live right across the lawn from me. We eat dinner, my family, my kids and myself, with my grandparents almost every evening. The possibility of bringing the coronavirus home was very real. As the chair of the Honolulu City Council, I was directly responsible for an office of more than 150 people. As you know, although I had closed Honolulu Hale to the public, I did have colleagues who would bring people from outside Honolulu Hale, from the general public, a dozen at a time, Mel, into Honolulu Hale. Usually when I wasn't around, when I wasn't at the Hale, when I was outside on other business, this kind of activities would happen. Uh, with that, Mel, I decided to step away from the Honolulu City Council. I am also a caregiver to my grandparents with my mom and my stepfather. I drive them to their doctor appointments. I help pick up their medications. I take them shopping. Sometimes I do their shopping myself. But my grandparents, for the most part, don't drive anymore. So my mom and I and my stepfather take care of all of that. As many of you folks know, I also had some internal immediate family issues that have since been resolved. So my family was in crisis at the time, Mel, when I left. Now, yes, I did go and spend some time working with the Hawaii Masons Union, Local 630. Very grateful, Mel, that when I went to that office, and one of the main reasons I chose Local 630 when I was offered that opportunity is that I was working in a closed environment with anywhere from 10 to 12 people per day, the same people every day. Our business manager closed the office to our membership. The membership was not allowed inside. We conducted all of our business by phone, by email. And for those who absolutely had to come down, they had to talk to the office staff through plexiglass. And our offices were constantly cleaned. So our contact with people from the outside was extremely limited. That was why I chose Local 630, to keep my family safe. Also afforded me the opportunity to take care of the family issues that I had to take care of. And when I needed to take my grandparents on their errands and tend to their day-to-day business, that position allowed me to do that. I was allowed to work from home a number of times to ensure that my grandparents' needs could be taken care of and that my children's needs could be taken care of. As you know, Mel, uh, I do have primary custody of my three minor children who still live at home with me, and also taking care of them.
Not an easy task, my friend. Not an easy task. No doubt about it.
But you know, Mel, as some people say, you can, when you step away from politics, you can always come back. What I always remind people is you can always ask to come back.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
always up to the community whether they will have you again. And it's at this point that I'm asking the community for another opportunity to serve, being fully
And,
mindful of the fact that it's up to the community whether I serve again or not. It's not up to me, it's up to the community.
and at a different level now. You're from the legislative branch now. You want to get to the executive branch. You from a district representation to statewide representation. It's a huge leap, man. That's a huge leap. That's a huge task. Uh, and the work has begun, but it's a long road, man. It's a long road.
It is. And moving across the state, talking to people community by community, Mel, has been a wonderful experience. I've had the opportunity to serve with you and some of our other friends as part of the Hawaii State Association of Counties. So I really got to experience and understand firsthand the issues that affect our other counties. More importantly, though, Mel, I really want to bring a rural flavor to the Lieutenant Governor's office. Yes, I served on the Honolulu City Council, by far the most urban of our councils. But I was elected by Windward Oahu, the people of Windward Oahu. I had to drive into downtown Honolulu for work every day. But at heart, Mel, I'm a down home Waimanalo country brother. Those are the people I live with. Those are my friends. Those are my neighbors. And those are the people who elected me. And I believe that I have a very solid understanding of rural people and rural issues. And with people like yourself, Mel, I don't believe we formed relationships over the years. I honestly believe we formed genuine friendships. And it's those friendships that have helped me understand the different communities across this state, unlike no other candidate, I don't think has been able to do.
Well, one of the nice things about the state association is exactly that. Is we and for that goes for me too, because Kauai is the smallest county, but yet working with representatives from all the counties, and understanding that while Hawaii is unique. Hawaii is so unique because while we are all part of the Hawaii state, every county is different. Every part of the counties, individual counties, is different. Um, Kauai is from the west side to the north shore, it's different. And when we come together as a statewide association and we understand,
Mhm.
when you start hearing the stories, the constituent issues from the different representatives from throughout the state, you realize while we are so much alike, there is still so many issues that we are different and require a different type of understanding. And I would assume you have how long you were on the city council for quite a while, right?
11 and a half years.
Yeah, yeah. And that you had also gone through many different colleagues over the years, different personalities, different
Hmm.
people. Wasn't that a trip though? Wasn't that like an education in and of itself?
Yes, yes, it was.
I mean, having to deal with Mel Raposo, man, having to deal with Mel Raposo at those meetings, bro, wasn't that like a trip?
But Mel, I think both of us also recognize that we don't get to choose our colleagues. The community does.
Yeah, that is
We
so
don't
true.
need to like each other, but I've always maintained that we do need to respect each other, work with each other, and just as importantly, respect the individual constituencies that elected us. Because when all is said and done, the actions we take affects the general populace. Doesn't matter if you like me or not. That's not the issue. The issue is we have to work together.
Well, I did
Bottom
like you
line.
though. I did like you. I'm kind of worried now. That sounded like you didn't like me.
Mel, it would be impossible for me not to like you.
Hey, I got some questions about the current state of affairs here in Hawaii with COVID. You played a very key role early on. Uh, COVID has changed tremendously from when it broke out almost 2 years ago now,
It has.
and a lot of things have changed. We've seen a lot of changes, and the one of my concerns, Ikaika, and I talked about it before you came on tonight, was the fact that now the governor is out uh, inviting everyone to come to Hawaii. Everyone, just please, we're open, we're safe. Lieutenant Governor was on today, basically saying that there's very little virus around. Everyone's vaccinated. We're safe. I've been pushing to open everything up outdoors, and I want to get rid of the Safe Aloha or whatever it's called program for Oahu. I think that in a couple of weeks, few weeks, we should be able to lift everything up and let everybody come in. One of the things that I'm very concerned about, and if we listen to the experts, Dr. Tim Brown, East West Center, Dr. Lee Altenberg from UH, Dr. Chiba from UH, and I know you're familiar with all of these people. They are advising and warning us to be very cautious. They all are requiring or asking us to reinstate the pre-testing, pre-travel testing for vaccinated and non-vaccinated.
Mhm.
I'm curious as to what your position is as far as COVID right now. If you listen to the Lieutenant Governor talk today, you would think that COVID is gone or very close to being gone. I don't feel that way. But I'm very concerned that as long as we allow travelers, and travelers doesn't only mean tourists, it means local residents as well, to come into our state on a daily basis. We're going back up to the 30,000, 40,000 a day, all non tested if they're vaccinated. Should we be concerned about that?
We still have a lot to be concerned about now, and I know you're hearing from the people of Kauai too who are telling you that they're concerned. Uh, there still is a lot of concern out there. I'm uncomfortable at this point opening up because I can't definitively tell people that we're okay. I'm just not ready to do that. And until we can definitively say that, yes, we're safe. Here's the evidence showing that we're safe to reopen. I wouldn't be able to do that and feel absolutely comfortable and confident in doing that. Mm, I could not
You know,
today.
early on, you mentioned when you had the outbreak at Honolulu Hale, and I believe it was Dr. Miskovich that helped you all get on site and start testing everybody. I remember Dr. Miskovich, and he's been a great friend of ours as well. And he actually posted a comment over here that you're absolutely correct that we needed to get in and test. What is your position on the testing? The experts are suggesting that we test our arrivals. Some experts, including Dr. Tim Brown, who I respect tremendously, probably one of the most informed infectious disease
Mm-hmm.
specialists, uh, recommends, along with Altenberg, a post-arrival test, maybe 3 or 4 days after arrival, to make sure we're not bringing in new virus. What are your thoughts on testing for travel?
I believe in testing. Relatively inexpensive testing is possible. The technology is there. It's easy to do, and it produces results. It'll tell the person taking the test if they're positive, and with the antigen test, uh, also can tell, depending on when the positivity was recorded, uh, whether you're infectious, whether you are a carrier, or whether you're not a carrier, as far as being contagious, whether you're contagious or not. Testing is key to be able to tell if a carrier is contagious or not contagious. And that's key information.
I can't remember who it was. I believe it was Dr. Brown on his spotlights, Star Advertiser Spotlight last week, that said the pre-travel testing should be done at the airport the day that they're traveling out, the day that they're leaving,
Mhm.
not 3 days prior, because we have learned so much in this pandemic. The Lancet study that was done clearly shows that the 3 day 72-hour testing is not effective because this virus,
No,
the infectious period changes with different people. You could pick up the virus after your 72-hour test.
exactly.
uh, so I mean, I guess the straight up question is, if you were, let's just say you were the lieutenant governor and you were on the news every morning at the current time,
Mhm.
would you be advocating for the pre-travel testing versus the no need testing for travelers?
I've always been an advocate of testing, and that advocacy hasn't changed. I still believe in testing just as I did before, Mel. That has not changed.
Well, thank you, thank you. I'm just trying to see.
So I'm still an absolute believer in testing.
Yeah, I mean, I worry. I worry because, and our viewers know because they hear it every night. They hear it from different experts, different guests. Jamie's asking if elected in the new administration in December 2022, would you work with HGA and UPW to remove Governor Ige's mandates that require state and county workers to take vacation while they wait 3 days to take the post-arrival test when tourists do not have to take any test post-arrival after November 1st?
What was that question again, Mel?
Apparently, what's happening is if a county or state employee comes back from the mainland,
Mm-hmm.
they need to take a post-arrival test, and they need to take and stay home until they get their post-arrival test 3 days after they come home, and they need to take vacation while they're at home waiting for the results. The
I will
question
say, Mel,
is,
I don't believe we should hold our residents accountable to a standard and hold our visitors unaccountable to the same standard. That's not fair. Just like you said, just like people right now are absolutely furious that they can't go and watch the University of Hawaii Warriors play football, but hundreds of visitors can sit together at ABC Luau this evening and enjoy a meal. That's ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. I tell folks, when high school football, OIA, Oahu Interscholastic Association, public high school football, first started this summer practicing, the stadium was closed where my son goes to school. So could not go inside the stadium to watch practice due to potential COVID spread. So there I am at the fence outside the stadium, looking into the practice field like this, with 5 to 10 other fathers on each side of me. So there you got 12 to 20 lolos, us guys, looking into the fence, watching practice, almost shoulder to shoulder. For the life of me, I can't understand how that's a better situation for spread than opening up the stadium and letting us sit in there. Hell, we wouldn't even be in the same section. So, no, we should never, ever, ever, as a matter of policy, hold our residents to one standard while letting visitors ignore it. Not cool. I would never be okay with it, with letting that fly. Cannot. Can't justify it.
Yeah, that bothers me every day. Ikaika, that bothers me every single day. How and now I will tell you what Kauai does, and this is why we truly appreciate and respect our mayor, because we have that policy. You need to test upon your arrival, uh, but the test kits are provided at the workplace. You don't
Okay,
need to take any time off. You don't need to pay a penny. You come to work and you take your rapid test. If it's positive, you go get a PCR test. If you test positive, you're unvaccinated, then you need to quarantine.
that's a
But
sound policy.
that is a
Makes,
sound policy and it's fair
makes
because you're
sense.
not forcing anybody to take time off for work. Now, if you're not vaccinated, that's a whole different story. But that's a choice. And I know a lot of
Right.
people they don't like that, but it is what it is. The problem is this: you hit it on the head. Visitor comes in, no test required because it's safe, right? According to our state leaders, it's safe. They're vaccinated, they can come in and they can go spread the virus everywhere on the islands. But our employee who's vaccinated cannot.
Exactly.
Different because the virus can tell the difference between a visitor and a local. That just drives me freaking crazy. And then at the luau down the road, 300, 400 people singing, no more masks because they're eating and drinking. And that, I think, Ikaika, for me, as a looking at who the heck to vote for, transparency, and Vicky Cayetano was on here last week, and it was weird because I wrote down on my whiteboard two things. I wrote transparency, accountability, and that's exactly what she talked about: transparency and accountability. If you have those two pillars, that's what I told her
Hmm.
in your administration, then everything falls into place. But once you start treating one person different from another,
That's right.
that's when all hell breaks loose. All
Especially
hell.
when the visitor is going to get preferential treatment over the resident. That is never okay.
And that is
We can't
exactly what
justify
is
that, Mel.
happening. That is exactly what is happening right now.
And
Uh,
I saw it and experienced it firsthand going to watch my son's football practice. Even the game last week, we could watch it on television. Luckily, it was televised. Thank you very much, OIA and OC16 for televising the game. But we couldn't go inside the stadium,
but you could have gone to a bar and watched it on their TV.
right?
In
Provided that
an
the bar broadcasting the game, you're right.
yes, you could go to a bar and sit in a indoor environment
You're right.
with alcohol being served. That is fine, but you cannot go sit 10 feet away from someone else on the in an open environment. It again, you see, it doesn't make sense. One of the things I learned in politics, you got to make laws or rules that are enforceable and that are reasonable.
You do.
Reasonable, something that the people can understand. But when you come out with these things, I mean, do you believe that this virus is over, Ikaika? Do you believe in your heart right now that COVID is done, the pandemic is over, and we are out of the tunnel?
I do not.
Yeah, no one does. None of the experts do, but some of our elected officials actually believe that is the case.
I haven't seen the evidence that it's over, Mel. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist. When I was an elected official, I told people uh, I don't know everything. I don't profess to be an expert on everything. Um, please give me some leeway on that. But
Oh,
what I am going to do is rely upon the people who are experts in their respective field when an issue comes in front of me. And I'm not afraid to tell people I don't know everything. I'm absolutely okay with that, with telling people I don't know everything. I'm fine with that. But then what I'm going to do is rely on the experts. In this particular case, with the pandemic, the physicians and the scientists, epidemiologists, those folks, I'm going to look at what they're seeing and I'm going to look at them with some guidance, for some guidance. I
Well,
think we need to.
Dr. Tim Brown, who keeps track of the numbers across the world, he keeps track of the literature coming out, the studies. He made a very profound statement the other day. He said, while many people around the country are trying to convince people that the pandemic is over, many of the states in the Northeast and many of the states in the Pacific Northwest, their numbers are climbing ridiculously high. And then he said, and those people are coming to Hawaii to visit. That was a clue. That was a hint. And then he said, his plea was that we would reinstate the pre-travel testing. Obviously, they are not listening to the experts, the infectious disease specialists, the epidemiologists. So it's refreshing to hear you say it's okay. I cannot imagine why any non-doctor, non-scientist, non-epidemiologist would pretend to know what is going on in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. I just, for the life of me, have a hard time understanding why someone would be ashamed to say, this one we gotta rely on the experts. I
Well,
think Tim Brown should be the guy. I really think he's the guy that should be leading the information flow to the decision makers.
well, perfect example, Mel, of not listening to the experts. Our friend, current council chair Tommy Waters, had colleagues of his yesterday bring to Honolulu Hale to testify in front of a city council committee about their belief that there are non-medical treatments available for COVID. One of those treatments that a statistician mentioned, a statistician, Mel, of all people, is on the record telling people that green tea is a remedy. Green tea. And I just think I believe it's absolutely dangerous, not only irresponsible, but dangerous to allow someone that type of a forum to preach to the general public that this is an idea. This is acceptable even for consideration. I wouldn't want that on my conscience to even bring that up as a possible solution, idea, thought, consideration. Imagine somebody relying on that because their council member brought this statistician who said green tea is a possible remedy, and of course we know it's not. But what if something happened to someone who relied on that information? I mean, as a government official, you have an obligation to ensure that the information you're giving out is correct. And you don't get to make it up, and you don't get to offer your opinion as fact or bring in other people to offer their opinions as fact. Not cool.
Well, there are people out there that believe that our show is misinforming the people. There are people out there that believe that we are sending out fake news, and you know, our own lieutenant governor texted me to tell me that I am listening to the wrong people. I'm like, really? Look at our lineup, guys. We got Miskovich, Dworkin, Altenberg, O'Carroll, uh, Brown, Jerome Kim from South Korea. I mean, I'm listening to the wrong people. That's all I got to say. I
Is
think
that two
you
number
listening to the
ones?
wrong people, LG. I think you listening to the, you know, I don't like to even give him time on our show, but some things have to be said. We scan the world to find out who we can get on our show that can inform and educate. And that's what we do. We don't typically bring on politicians, but we if there's an opportunity to bring anyone on that can inform and educate the people as we're getting close to the election season, we talk about this. Charlie and I talk about this every night. We gonna decide the future of our state by who we elect.
Yep, that's
So we
exactly.
can sit back. We can sit back and just hope that the people going out and get the information they need to make a intelligent decision at the ballot box. Or
Right.
we can bring the people here and put them on the spot. I did not send Ikaika any questions. He didn't know what we are going to talk about. Neither did Vicky. And I put the anyone else that's running for public office that wants to come on. You let me know. We put you on, except for Josh. He won't come on our show, but anyone else is welcome to come on our show. Now, people think I'm shallow. I got my reasons, but anyone else, you guys want to come on and share your perspectives? Our forum is open, man. Our forum is open because we want to inform and educate. We want to make sure when election day comes, we vote for the people that are going to represent us.
Hmm.
And I appreciate your responses tonight, Ikaika. I think well, you have made me understand that you definitely are for the people. That you're definitely not afraid to speak out. I mean, I've seen that for many years, so I already knew that. But a lot of politicians, when they on any kind of forum like this, they tend to walk on that little tightrope. And appreciate you being straight, man. Appreciate you being
So I
straight with us.
appreciate the time, brother Mel. And I've made some colorful, off the cuff remarks over the years, but I say what I feel. If I'm asked a question, I'm going to answer it honestly, and I'm going to respond as to how I feel. I'm not one who's going to look for the best soundbite or the answer that's going to sound the best. Uh, I'm just going to answer the question the best way I know how, and I'm going to let folks know how I feel. As you know, Mel, not everybody appreciates that, but
No,
that's the
no.
only way I know how to be.
Honey says, "Betcha Mel will run for county council next election. Anyone want to lay a bet?" I told you guys before. My name is going to be on the ballot somewhere. It is going to be on a ballot. It might be, who knows? I might be Ikaika's running mate. You never know. I haven't decided. I won't run for lieutenant governor only because Ikaika's running, but there's the
Thank
governor's
you for
race,
that, brother Mel. I
there's the
appreciate it.
legislature, there's the county council. My name is going to be on a ballot. I haven't decided which one, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Ikaika and Raposo on the ballot because Charlie said no, he don't like run. So, man,
Oh, that
wouldn't
means you
that
got
be
to step
something,
up
bro?
then, Mel.
I know. Damn, I gotta shave. I gotta shave.
But then you tell him that means you got to be a campaign manager. Then that doesn't mean he gets to sit at home and watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gonna have to be the Charlie and Charlie show.
There you
I
go.
don't even. He might even be watching. Putting. He's working tonight. He's working. But anyway, guy, that time flew by really quick. I want to give you an opportunity to share your thoughts with our viewers. Floor is yours, my man. Take as much time as you want, but floor is yours, bro.
Well, again, Mel, I just really want to thank you for the opportunity to talk story with your viewers this evening. Uh, Wonderful opportunity to talk with people across the state. Mel, I know you've got a lot of respect and aloha from people all over the state of Hawaii. And that's a testament to your service over the years, the fact that you tell it like it is, and that you've done a good job in representing people. And I believe, Mel, that's why you and I have become friends over the years. We think alike. We tend to say how we feel, even though sometimes it's not what people want to hear. Uh, but we're both genuine people. And I think that's really what has helped us build the friendship that we have today. Uh, we love people. We love the people side of being in service. Some people love the policy part of it. I've come to understand it and enjoy it. But really, what I love about public service is the people part of it. Getting to talk to people, getting an opportunity every day to make somebody's life better, to improve upon somebody's life and leave that better than when they woke up in the morning. You get an opportunity every day to do that as an elected official. And that's really, really what drives me uh, with wanting to come back and ask the people for another opportunity to serve. But thank you very much again, Mel, for the opportunity. Look forward to talking with you folks again soon. And our team will be returning to Kauai in the near future. We look forward to it.
Well, I did see some comments about people that if they wanted to help you out on your campaign, what is the best way to you have? Do you have a website or
We do have a
how?
website. Our website is ikaikaanderson.com. Our email address is ikaika@ikaikaanderson.com. And our phone number is 808 259 2022.
Ikaikaanderson.com. Ikaikaanderson.com. Just remember that, guys. No hesitate to reach out to Ikaika on his website or through his email. Um,
We'll also be coming up
Facebook.
with our banners, Mel. across the state very shortly. Our Kauai banners will feature a beautiful scenic backdrop of the Waimea Grand Canyon. Look forward to sharing those with the people of Kauai.
Awesome, and I can't believe it's that time of year again. I do have a PSA, people, and I waited. I strategically placed this at the end of our show so Ikaika can listen because it's kind of like a hint. But it's a PSA. You guys all know we talked about this for 2 years. Our kids have suffered in the youth sports arena, in the arts, in the music, in all facets. Our kids have suffered. Kauai Pop Warner is playing. Their season is playing, and we're about ready to wrap up the season. My wife, as you know, or as you may know, is the scholastics coordinator. The thing about Pop Warner is our kids are required to maintain a 2.0 grade point average to participate. Unlike many of the other youth sports out there, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but we actually are very strict on our kids. And my wife's job is to make sure that these kids maintain a 2.0 every week. If not, they don't participate. They
Right
don't
on.
play. Yeah, it's fantastic. It gets them ready for the next level. Anyway, because we didn't have a season, because we couldn't generate the gate, which all we asking for money. We asking for money, and there's two functions going on right now. It's our cheer competition. Our cheerleaders, they get to compete once a year. They're at the football games every week. They participate. They do their thing, but they only get to compete one time. And unfortunately, because of our COVID, nobody can watch. We cannot charge admission. There is a very expensive cost to that. So we are raising money for the cheer competition, which gonna happen, which is going to happen on October 31st. Also, our scholastics banquet. 15 of our kids have um, maintained a grade point average of 96% or higher.
Wow.
96% throughout the season that qualifies them for the national scholarship. Believe it or not, the eighth and ninth graders qualify for a scholarship. I think it's 4,000. There's some $1,000 scholarships and $4,000 scholarships that they hold for them until they go to college. Fantastic.
Nice.
So Patsy is in charge of the banquet. So we're asking for monetary donations to help offset the banquet because the kids and parents do not pay, or gifts because we're going to give our kids some stuff. Anyway, yes, I will be announcing at the high school football game this Saturday for Kauai High. I just saw that come up. Sorry.
And how do contributions come into that effort now?
The easiest way is message me on Facebook, or you can email me, melraposo@gmail.com, or just shoot me a text, a message. We'll get you the link. We're probably going to have to just use Patsy's Venmo link for now. I can assure you that all the monies that gets raised will go to these two functions. We really got to do it because these kids have not had a true season, and we want to make it special this year. We want to recognize them. We got one of our kids from Kauai actually won the big scholarship one year when I was still coaching. We're gonna have him come back and speak to the kids. It's just we just want to make it right. We'll
Nice.
make it good, and so of course we want you guys to be part of it.
And you're
Our
recognizing the
village.
cheerleaders as well in their efforts.
Well, they are going to be competing for the regional
Nice.
championship. So, and it sucks because I always told the kids when I coach the boys, I say, you guys, you can miss a block. You go out there, there's 11 of you. You miss a block, the play goes on. You may maybe lose a couple yards. You go back and you play another play. These girls have a 2.5 minute routine, one shot. If they mistake, they're done. They're out. They're just out. So this is the one opportunity in the year that they will get to go out and do their trip and hopefully win and advance to the
Right on.
regionals,
And these
possibly in the
cheerleaders are
national.
athletes, Mel. It's important to remember that.
Athletes,
These cheerleaders
athletes,
are actual athletes.
athletes. So I will do a post. I will do a post when we conclude this
Right
show
on.
tonight on my page. Um, Again, nothing big. You guys don't need to bring. Unless you get plenty of money, you like donate. That works too. That works too. We don't. We've asked for money twice on this show. One was for the Kauai Strong Fund, which we through selling T-shirts. We don't want to do this, but I my passion in this organization is yes, this is for all Pop Warner teams. This is for the league, not the associations. This is for the league banquet and the league cheer competition. So yes, this is not for any one specific or association. This is for the entire league. And I know a lot of you guys are throughout the state. Your money's good too. Just kidding, just kidding. Anyway, I'll put up a post later, and I
Right
really
on.
appreciate whatever you guys can do to help. Ikaika, man, it's been awesome, buddy. It's been look. I already got $100 from somebody. Somebody just I just see PayPal just came on my phone. I got $100. I cannot see who did it. Thank you. You're an angel. Thank you so much. I didn't feel it. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, thank you, Jesus. Um, but yeah, Ikaika, thank you for your time, bro. I know you're a busy guy. It's always a pleasure to share time with you, bro.
Same here.
You have been a huge source of information for me. You've been a mentor, believe it or not. Even though I think I'm older, I know I'm older than you, but
Just a little
you
bit.
you taught me a lot, man. You taught me a lot, and appreciate that. And I hope you get this thing, buddy. I hope you become our lieutenant governor. Um, I think it'll be great for the state. And we always tell everybody uh, we're not going to endorse nobody on this show, but and I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm just asking you to vote for Ikaika for lieutenant governor. All right, how's that? How's that? Not endorsing him, but anyway, I appreciate you, man. Uh,
Much mahalo, Mel. We look forward to taking our message across the state and earning the opportunity to uh, earn people's trust and to have candid conversations. We're looking forward to that.
IkaikaAnderson.com. IkaikaAnderson.com. Tomorrow night, folks. Tomorrow night. You asked for it, you got it. Dr. Miskovich, Dr. Akiona, back
Nice.
tomorrow night. And listen, it's a rapid fire Q&A. We're not going to talk story. We're going to fire this baby up and we're going to just pound them with questions that come from all of you. Okay? Rapid fire Q&A
I'll be
with
checking that
Dr.
out.
Miskovich, Dr. Akiona, and so get your questions ready and come on early so you don't ask questions that have already been asked. 7 o'clock. Be there. We love you guys to the village. Take care. Stay safe. God
Aloha.
bless. Ikaika. Much mahalo. Love to the family,
Aloha.
my man.
Mahalo, guys.